Can you really tell me full name of Salman? Can you tell me the highest qualification of Samuel Jones? Can you tell me even the Zobo seller? Everything we treated in this very episode. This is episode Go Study. I am AGF. Alright, today we are going to talk about the life changer that is written by what? Khadija Abubakar. That's the Jamb novel for this very year. I will treat it chapter by chapter, where we will talk about the key topics that are there. We'll talk about the summary. We'll talk about 150 plus questions, possible questions that we have, and we'll talk about the key points that you should note in these very chapters, just to make sure your nerves and your muscles are relaxed. Then learn. Now, the rough summary of what happened in this very novel. It started by the funny story of Bint. Bint was telling her elder sister about what happened at school that very day, and she asked that very teacher, how do you say very good in French? The teacher could not answer. During this very process, her brother came back. That's Omah. This very brother came back with the news of his admission. His mommy and all that, they were very happy. After everything, that led to his mom, that's Ummi. Ummi had to be like, wow, this guy is living in our community. I must tell him about my personal experience in university. That's Ummi university experience. And with that, we saw how she talked about different things. She talked about Salman. Who is Salman? She met Salman during her registration. While she was doing her registration, despite the fact that she was the last on the queue. How would these people still just leave? The young man had to address her that despite the fact that you came late and you are even the last on the queue, why would we be saying this? She was not like, no, you don't really know this lecturer than I do, and that this and this and this and this. She was blaspheming lecturers. She was comparing lecturers with policemen. Later on, someone realized that the young man she was interrogating with was the man in charge of that very office. That would be the person that would be in charge of her registration. She was a reckless dresser. We'll talk about email also. What is email? Email is examination malpractice. She was telling Omah all this so that he would realize and know the difference between university and secondary school. She was actually telling him different things. That was even when she coined the name of that very novel, The Life Changer, because the university will change you, and also it will change your life. We also talk about the marriage of Salman. We talk about the roommates of Salman. We'll talk about the two young men that came to meet Salman. We have Labaran, and we also have Habib. Now, with this, she also talked about Talle. Talle was a quiet neighbor. This very neighbor was very, very quiet, but they later realized that this man was associated with one kidnapping sin and all that. So they had to take him. The policeman had to take him and all that. And we'll see even how Talle came to this very world was just mysterious, because his parents were not really able to cater, like they were not really able to fertilize and give birth to someone like him until they got to an herbalist. We'll also see the fiance of Salim, how he had a nasty experience with a girl, like two girls like that, because we were told about two scenes in that very in this very novel. We'll talk about Natasha, and we'll talk about another girl like that, another ugly girl like that. So he met all these people through through his social handles. He was to go on WhatsApp, on Twitter and all that. So he was actually trying to date online, but those things were not really working for him. Now, let's look at general realities about the novel, the book, The Life Changer. If you were asked that who wrote The Life Changer, what would you say? The author of The Life Changer, Khadija, Abubakar, Jalli. Note the spellings of this very word. I would like you to what, to get a note as you as I've been talking, and even what I will be saying in this very video. Try to get a note, write those things down, and what, revise them. And as you do that, you see that what, it would stick. You would understand those things better. Let me just tell you that the faintest ink is better than the sharpest brain. So if your ink is not really working very well self, it is still better than that very sharpest brain. So number 2, talk about the dedication. Actually, the author dedicated this very book to what? To our 5 children. That we have Zara, we have Najwa, we have Basma, we have Sadiq, we have Faha. So those are the names of our 5 children. Now, if you were asked that how many chapters can you see in the book The Life Changer, we have 9 chapters in The Life Changer. Now, number 4 is what? It's talking about the author. The author of the book studied what? So actually, the author of the book, she studied mathematics. That's bachelor's degree, at the stage of bachelor's degree. Then if you were asked that what, how about occupation and all that, actually she is an entrepreneur and a CEO of what? She's Boutique Afrique. If you want to get this, we can check the what, about section. And we also see, if you were asked that what, how many pages can you actually see in the book The Life Changer? Actually, there are 2 pages that you can see the same thing there. Yeah, that should be 70 and 71. Yeah, 70 and 71, page 70 and page 71. You will see the same thing there. But nevertheless, if you check this very book, you will see that what, there is, this book contains what, 79 pages. Number 7 also tells us that what, this very book focuses on what, on the life on campus. Just like I told you that what, actually because of Omah's admission, that was why Ummi had to narrate all those stops she narrated that made the novel very, very long. And I tell you, okay, you still I'll still talk about some stuffs in this very video. Then in person also, like the person that this very book is actually based on. You know, I was telling you the other time that what, Salma was a reckless dresser. I was talking about a lot of things about her. Actually, Salman, the book The Life Changer, as Salman as the what, as the general character. Then you can check, if you want to check about this, if you want to know more about this, you can check the about section. Even the author had to describe this book toward Salman and our friends. So you can also check many, because even many chapters were based on what, on Salman. The ninth thing that we'll talk about is what, The Life Changer. The Life Changer was actually the first publication of the what, of the author. If you check the about section, you will see there that what, the author's first publication was The Life. We also talk about the what, the storyteller in this very novel. Like who was actually narrating all those stories that we were talking about. I think you should even understand it, even if you've not even read it before, because when I was summarizing it, I was telling you that what, the Ummi had to what, tell them about everything that what, just brief them. Though the university, I'm telling you, those things that are happening in campuses nowadays, the book cannot actually contain all, but you know, you are just coming afresh, so you need to understand some of the things that are happening in the campus. Ummi was the storyteller. So larger part, if you check it very well, you also see that what, larger part of the story was narrated under the mango tree. Do you understand? They had to leave their what? They have to leave the house because number one, the generator has spoiled. Number two, they had the last time they had light was 2 days ago, and like that. So they had to leave the house to narrate the larger part of the story under the mango tree and in their courtyard. And let me tell you something about this very novel again. Do you know that this very novel was narrated before the father came? So we just heard that they were waiting for the father, but till we finish that very novel, you say that what there is nothing like the father arrived and all that. And if you critically study that very novel, you say that what even this very story was narrated within 2 to 3 hours, just like was narrated under that very 2 to 3 hours. And okay, can you tell me the names of the children of what of Ummi? Ummi had 4 children. The first was what like the eldest. That's her first child, and actually it was a male child. So that's what Omah. We also have what we also have the second born, which was actually to them was the what was the eldest female child. But this very eldest female child was what she was the eldest female child, but the second born of the family, that's what Tima. And we also have the third born, that's what Jamila, the immediate elder sister of what of Bint. And we also have Bint as the youngest. Do you understand? So she was the 5-year-old girl that was talking about a teacher and all that. They were laughing and all that. Just imagine 5-year-old girl like that. You know how you will be now. So that made them to laugh, and that attracted their mother. And okay, all these stuff. Okay. If you want to understand, while I said 4 children, it is actually written it on the screen. Int, you see that what they talked about 8 years, 8 expectant years. Okay, before that very statement, she told them that what there will be a grand celebration for what for Omah's admission. Do you understand? Now, she will not realize that these guys they were expectant and all that how would it be, how would this grand celebration be and all that. So she had to tell them, she had to quickly correct herself that actually though when your father come we will do it, but your father he will be the one to dictate that because he is the only bank in this very community. So she was talking talking to 8 expectant years at that very particular time. That shows you that what 4 years, and they were 4 persons, like they said it inside that very novel. 5 Zobo drinks. When they got out, Omah ordered Tima to bring Zobo. She was not like, no, I can't bring Zobo or something like that. So, but after everything and all that, our mother, like Omah's mother, had to tell Tima to bring 5 Zobo, and they shared it equally. So for you to know that what they were actually 4, they were actually 4 children. And after all, you see that if you go through the passages also, like the pages of that very novel, you would also see that what about like the children's name that were mentioned were 4. Okay, the church also that what the name of the novel was derived from what actually it was derived from the statement of the mother that it is your admission is admission is a life changer for you. And who said it? You could just be asked that who said that very statement. I'm telling you, it should be a sure question that you should know, because the name of that very novel, you understand now. So Ummi was actually the person that said that, and who was Salma's roommate, just like that and all that. Let's quickly, now that we've treated this, let's move to chapter 1. We'll treat, just like I outlined before, we'll talk about the key topics, talk about the summary, talk about the possible questions and key points in chapter 1. Then we'll move to chapter 2, move to chapter 3, chapter 4, till we end this very video. Let's move to chapter 1. In chapter 1, we'll talk about Bint and her teacher. We'll talk about Omah's admission. We'll talk about how the life changer was derived. Now, let's start. Actually, in that very novel, we'll see that what it started with this very girl called Bint. She was a 5-year-old girl. Imagine a 5-year-old girl saying a funny story. Why would I say it's a funny story? Okay, the teacher just came in and asked them that what is the meaning of good morning in French. So she had to answer that very teacher. She rose her hand up and she answered the teacher correctly. Abi, what will you say? You will tell that very person that that's very good. Now, innocently, she did not know that the teacher did not know it, but she just asked that how do you say that is very good in French? So that shows that she was curious. The next child to leave the class to call a French mistress of the senior class. So it was now that senior class that was a senior class French mistress that spoke to them, like she answered the question correctly. Then after that, like the shame and all that. So it was after break the teacher came back to the class. So her classmates were not like, wow, a champion. Even that very time, she was new in that very school. You understand? So they were dancing and all that. Wow, wow. Imagine a 5-year-old girl to do that. So that same thing made her sisters that she was telling inside their room. Because according to this very novel, you will see that they are all living in a room. Like the sisters, they are all living in a room, but we were not really told like to further details about that very room. So they were in that very room talking together and all that. You understand? So and the laughter of these very sisters, they were like, wow, how would a 5-year-old girl do like this and all that? They were laughing at that very teacher. So their mom just came in because that very thing was arresting. And as she was narrating this very story, and she realized Ummi, who was the mom, realized that their voice started getting louder and louder and louder. She had to listen that no, what she was like, what is actually happening in this very room? So she was just normally she did not really like to eavesdrop, you understand, but she actually had to do that so that she would understand why they were laughing, because that very laughter was arresting and compelling, you understand. So she entered and she was not telling Bint, because she was not talking to Bint. That's good of you and all that. So she was appreciating Bint on her curiosity, you understand. Now the next thing was, she was not telling Bint that no problem, don't think about that the teacher and all that, because even the teacher, she would not like to tell you the wrong, like she did the best thing at that very particular time. She had to call another person that knew the name, like the meaning of that very word, of that very French, of that very word in French, to tell you. So so she told them, like she told the sisters like that. And while they were talking, Omah, who was the eldest, like the eldest, and happened to be the only male of the family, came in. But this kind of joy that you will feel, imagine you just saw your admission letter. How will you feel? You'll be very, very happy. So he not even know, he just packed the door, and immediately he hugged his mom that, oh mommy, I made it, and all that. And so he was not happy. He now told them that, mommy, I gained admission to study at I gained admission to study law. Like after everything, he told her mom that his mom that he gained admission to study law at Congo campus of Ahmadu Bello University, that's in Zaria. So they were not talking, they were talking. Ummi, who was the narrative voice, actually, while writing the novel, the author had to just make someone the narrative voice. And the narrative voice of that very novel, from the start to the end, was Ummi. You understand? So Ummi was the narrative voice. So Ummi was not telling them that Ummi was not telling us, the reader, that that her husband also wanted to study law before Providence dictated that he would study accounting. And according to the novel also, we realize that Tima was always against Omah. If Omah should say A, Tima will say B and all that. You know, these kind of frustrating sisters. And it's everybody that will have that kind of sisters. They will just be frustrating you. If you say A like this, you will frustrate you to say B and all that. You know that kind of thing. Well, God will help us. So with this kind of sister, Tima, which happened to be the eldest female child, and the eldest male child. They are against themselves. Why Bint and Omah, Bint, who was the youngest, and Omah, who was the eldest, there is this affinity. There's this kind of affinity between them. They love themselves very, very, very well. You understand? Omah was now trying to tell them that, no, don't call me any big brothers again now. What you'll be calling me now is my learned brother, because that the students that are in law in Congo campus of Ahmadu Bello University, we call ourselves learned colleagues, but you'll be calling me my learned brother. You understand? So you're like, Tima was not telling that learned brother and all that. So she was kind of frustrating. But okay, with the exemption of only that last, I told you that he had affinity for there's this affinity between them, Bint, that 5-year-old girl, and him, or Omah. So you had to say no problem. That Bint it's only Bint that can call him big bros and all that, but others, they must call him learned brother. If you imagine the scene now, you realize that in a room we have the mother, we have Bint, and the sisters. You understand? When they realized that the room was getting stuffy, so Jamila just had to say that let's go out. So this is why they could not normally when they realize that stuffy something, what would they do? They should do on their generator. But number one, generator are spoiled, and number two also, the last time they had lights was 2 days to that very time, so they had to just leave. Mommy said okay, no problem, so they left that very room. So they went to sit under a mango tree, you understand, at their backyard. The later part of the story was now told there. There we'll see chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4 till we get to chapter 9. So during this very process, they had to bring out Sobo. Because Omah instructed Tima, who was the I will not talk about Tima. So I will still talk about Tima, don't worry, while we are treating the question. So Omah instructed Tima to bring Zobo. Then afterward, Tima was like, I told you that they are not friendly. Those guys, they are just used to disturb Omah. So now, you that you collected my guinea, I did not pay that last time, so I will not give you again. You go, no, I can't give you another. You understand that kind of thing? You not do that. Ummi just interfered. The narrative voice of that very story interfered and told Tima that Tima should not worry, that she should bring it, that she will pay. So Omah to thank Tima, Omah to thank Ummi that okay, thank you very much, mommy, and all that. So he thanked Ummi, and they brought out 5 subu. Ummi now made a statement that this admission to you, tell me what this admission will do to you. It was not like that means that I'm now a member of the intelligentsia. Tima, I told you about Tima, that Tima will always be against him. Tima was not like intelligentsia, okay. You just intelligentsia, something like that. He was just laughing him and all that. So his mommy now answered that no, not that. That this very admission is a life changer for you. It will change you and it will change your life. So that was where they got the name the life changer. Now I'm saying it again. They might bring question on this very place. So let's quickly treat questions on this very novel, and probably those parts that I did not talk about while I was summarizing will be touched during this very question. So number one, according to the novel, why did Ummi pause to listen to their conversation. Actually, they were waiting for daddy. Ummi was waiting for daddy. The other the other children also were waiting for daddy before everything just occurred. Actually, the reason why she had to just pause and listen was that what she had a compelling and arresting laughter. There's something about that laughter that no, this laughter is not ordinary. So you know that kind of laughter. You say you would like to, even though you know you don't really used to interfere with meddle with all these stuff. You have to what? You have to hear that let me see what is actually happening in this very room. Number two, question number two. From the novel, who was the narrative voice that caused the laughter? Actually, you should know that what Bint, the 5-year-old girl. Three. According to the novel, how old was Bint? I already said it. I said what? 5 years old. Number five. Number four. From the novel, of what gender, name, and was the teacher that believed he or she knew a little bit about every subject under the sun, especially French? Actually, number one, a male, and his name Malam Saliu. Saliu. You understand? Malam Saliu. We also have number five. According to the novel, what was an optional subject and second to English in the ranking of international languages? Actually, in that novel, we were made to know that what it's French. That was when the Ummi was not telling us about how they had to choose French for Bint because they realized that French was the second language to English in their community. You understand? So what was number six? What was Malam Saliu first question? Actually, his first question you should know now. Just imagine a student like as you came into the class, the student said, "Good morning." Now the next thing you have to you told them to those students, you not even tell them that okay, thank you and all that. To them that who can tell me the meaning of good morning in French? You understand? So just like that brought out the question. Now number seven. Did Bint intentionally asked the question? Now the question, and how do you say that it is good, that it is very good in French, teacher? To test the teacher, no, she did not. Answer is no, she did not actually intentionally ask this very question. If no, why? She asked this. She asked innocently. If you check that very novel, you see that she asked innocently. Question number 8. After the teacher left with the French mistress, when did he come back? Actually, he came back after break. You understand? So he came back after break. Number 9. What were the reasons why Ummi would go into their room unannounced to keep them on their toes? When you are talking about personal hygiene, she wanted them to be clean. You understand? So if she should just enter like that and all that, they would they would fear her presence and they'll be like, yeah, our mother can come anytime like from now. So let's just leave this stuff that they have not done very well and do it very well as we should do it. So they will keep their house tidy, they will keep their room tidy and all that. And the second reason why she used to go to their room unannounced, she will not even tell them that I'm coming to your room, is that to keep their company. Or you can reframe this very word to be for them to get used to her presence. You know, they are very small. They are small children. They are still small. So you have to do it. You have to do this to your children. I'm telling you, this very novel, if you read it very well, you realize that teaches. There are a lot of values that you get from it. You understand? It's stating there now that you have to get used to you have to make sure that you check your children regularly so that they will get used to your presence. You understand? And some of the stuff that you still learn in this very novel will tell you that what, wow, this is actually a book I should read. You understand? So question number 10. Who used to say what you teach a child is like writing on a rock, and when it's dry it would be difficult to erase? Actually, Ummi was actually telling them that what our grandmother used to what used to say that. So don't misquote that to be the children's grandmother. You understand? You could just be asked that very question, and some people will pick the children's grandmother. No, Ummi said her grandmother. You understand? So question number 11. The first child had great affinity for who? So who? Question number 11. Bint. The first child had affinity for Bint. Now question number 12. What do Omah, other children, other friends, and our children call what? Call Ummi, like call Ummi, that's their mother. Actually, Omah used to call Ummi mom, M-U-M. Other children would call Ummi mommy. That's Tima, Bint, Jamila. You understand? Now, other friends would call Ummi mommy as well, like her friends. You understand? But other persons in the community would call her simply Ummi. But our friends, our friends now, the friends of Ummi would call her mommy. So exactly. Question number 13. Who was referred to as Mama? Other mom. Okay, according to novel, Mama, other mothers apart from Ummi in that very community were referred to as what? Will be like, if they want to address, if their children want to address them, they will say that what? Mama, mama, mama. You understand? Question number 14. Goodbye until we meet again was said to be dash in French. Au revoir. Au revoir. Question number 15. According to the novel, who said I made it, mom? I made it in the passage, and why? Where? And tell us more about him or she. As I was saying, I said in that very novel, Omah gained admission and he was very happy. He came back, he jumped on his mommy, and oh mommy, I made it. You understand that kind of thing? So Omah said it, and it was because he gained admission to study law, Congo campus of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. What was Ummi's singular thrill with Omah? Actually, the reason why Ummi was very pleased with what Omah was because he was always decently dressed and clean. And Omah at that very position had was 18 years old. Omah 17. What was the full meaning of the acronym Jamb? That's why you know it, but they can surprise you to ask. You understand? But I don't know. But they can surprise you to ask because it was actually said in that very novel. The full acronym of Jamb is what? Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. Question number 18. What did Ummi's husband want to read before Providence dictated accounting? Actually, as I said, I think I said this earlier. A, he wanted to study law. Just call yourself Omah Escuri was said by who? Actually, I said, just remember that if they are actually talking against Omah, it should be Tima. So that will help you not to even cram, and you don't need to cram. Another thing you can do also is that you try to go through this video again, or as much time as you can go through it. Don't cram. The reason is it will stick. You will understand it. You would remember it than you cramming the answers. I don't advise people to cram. Just understand it. You understand? So as you go through it over, you will realize those parts that you thought you knew the other time but you didn't actually get. um question number 19. Just call yourself. Okay, I said question number 20. What name did Omah want his immediate two sisters to call him? Just like I said, my learned brother. According to Omah, what was stopping Tima from going tall? Actually, when Tima was actually against him, everything and all that, he just told Omah that Tima, that the reason why you are not tall is because of this very jealousy and what? Jealousy and envy. You understand? So, question number 22. Omah referred to her husband as the dash in the community. Just like I told you, he referred to her husband. She referred to her husband as the only bank in the community. Question number 23. What was the room? Why was the room getting stuffy? The reason. The answer: no light for 2 days, and even if they would like to on their generator, just like I told you, it needs there will be a need for what? For repair. Question number 24. Because the room was getting stuffy, who dusted and what were they dusting after they left the room? Actually, Bint and Jamila dusted the what? The chair. You know, they left the room to go outside, right? Under the mango tree. So Bint and what? Jamila had to dust the chairs that were outside. That for you to know that these two girls that dusted. So these are the things that you should note so that you will not even cram. These two girls that dusted the what? The chairs were the youngest. Bint was the youngest, while Jamila was the what? The immediate elder sister of Bint. You understand? So Bint and Jamila dusted the chair. Just like you know that if you want to dust something, you have to call your younger sister that, hey, do this thing for me, just something like that. So and number 2 also, plastic chairs. They were dusting plastic chairs, not what? Not wooden chairs and all that. You understand? These are some of the things that you should note. Question number 25. To await Ummi's husband arrival, where were they? Just like I said, they were under the mango tree at the backyard. Question number 26. Who was the zobo seller? The question I told you, I will not tell you that time. Actually, it was Tima. So note that they can ask you that who was the zobo seller. The zobo seller was what? Jamila. I'm sorry, Tima was the zobo seller. Question number 27. What was the name of the community Omah and other children and Ummi grew up in? Lafayette community. And also, you should also note that what the story was probably said under 2 to 3 hours before their father came. Actually, even after they finished that very novel, they did not talk about the arrival of their father at all. But you should note that what this very story, wonderful story, under 2 to 3 hours. They might not ask you, but just understand that. You understand? Understand that. Question number 28. What do you mean by the statement by the immodest remark was by that immodest remark was question number 28. What do you mean by that immodest remark? That's a statement. You understand? What do you mean by that immodest remark? Who asked it, and who was this very statement? Who was this very person referring to? Tima asked Omah. You see this kind of thing. she is still trying to what annoying him after everything, annoying him. This thing myself, now question number 29. What was the reason Omah give as the importance of what, of smartphone? Actually, he talked about it to make things easier and faster. That was when he was telling his mom that if you look at my friends, they've already seen their admission letter 2 days before I can see mine. And he even added it that very 2 days before he could see his, was talking about the fastness. Though they did not say it, but you should understand that what fastness, faster. And another thing he also mentioned, he said that what they saw it even on their bed. You understand? So that means they did not even leave their house at all. Their comfort zone, they saw it. So that should tell us also that what they saw it easily. They did not even stress themselves to go out. So smartphone would make things easier and faster. Question number 30. What did Omah said as the implication of what, the admission to him? He said, actually Omah said it meant it was what, at one, like it was one of the what, the members of the intelligentsia. That's why I said the other time, they were like intelligentsia and all that. Someone was not like intelligentsia, you know that kind of thing. Now you just entered school and you are feeling on top of the world. So that was when his mother told him that no, intelligentsia, no, not intelligentsia. This admission is a life changer for you. It will change you, and it what? It will change your life. So question number 30. Just like you can see the pages in which I'm taking these very questions, you can see them boldly written. So try to what? Try to just, if you want to verify these questions, if you want to verify the answers, or if you want to just use that to search the what, the novel, you can do that. You can just use that very page. You understand? You can use that very page to do that. And don't also forget that if you need the PDF, the link is in the description section. So question number 31. Who said this admission is a life changer for you? And to who? And the meaning. I've been saying this over and over and over again. You should know that what Ummi said it, and she was referring to Omah, because it changes your life and you. Question number 32. The statement "it means it changes your life" was made by who? Now, you know this thing, I'm telling you, this question might come out. Because it's a tricky question. His mother almost said the same thing. She also said the same. She also said something like that. Understand? So the statement "it means it changes your life" was made by who? Tima. It was after that Omah told Tima that no. Actually, it not only changes. It does not only change your life. It changes you as well. So that was why I was telling you that I'm telling you these stuff that is said inside this very novel. It's very, very real. These are some of the things that we encounter in our universities and our higher education today, and it changes you truly. I know how my admission personally now. I know how my admission has changed me. So just like that. So the statement "it means more than that, my dear." It means they might not put "it means more than that, my dear." They'll just tell you that the statement that "it means also changes you" was made by, it is Ummi. But the second one, "your life," it is what? Sima. For you to know that anytime there's something she wants to talk about, like against a brother like this, like anything, if you see anything against Omah, just know that what? It is Tima that what? It was Tima that said it. Now in chapter 2, some of the key topics that are in that very chapter. Number 1, we have what? We have Ummi's marriage and admission. She married before she gained admission. Number 2, we'll talk about Salman. Here we'll talk about Salman briefly. Now the next one will be what? On Ummi and the HOD, that's Sam John. We also talk about her husband comments about Sam John. That's what chapter 2 is all about. So let me quickly give you the summary. It happened that after Ummi told Omah the other time about a life changer, she decided to take him further. To tell him some of the things that happened when she was on campus. So this chapter 2 starts by telling us. This chapter 2 started by telling us about Ummi. Here we were told that Ummi was preparing for admission. Like she already got admission at that very particular time. So she was preparing for her admission at Lafayette Community, and at the same time she married also then, because her father was like, marry before you finish your university. And her fiance, that was her fiance also was like, no, marry now before, let's marry now before you even get to the university. So with that, they married before they got to that very university. So that was the reason why in that very the first paragraph of chapter 1, you would see that they said it was a double celebration of sorts. So one, they were celebrating our admission, and at the same time they were celebrating their marriage. Now after this, after Ummi gained admission, you have to do a lot of things, like you go to the registration officer, you would submit, you would register, you would do a lot of things, your documents. Even it might take you 2 weeks like that to even finish some of these very processes. Understand? So just like that, Ummi was also doing that at that very particular time. She would go and register and all that. So at the registration office where she wanted to register, she was waiting. Now there was a girl that came after everybody was there. The girl was like the last on the queue, and you see the girl was like, why would this lecturer be delaying us like this? I don't know why. She was complaining and all that, to the extent that a young man had to come to address her that, why are you doing like this? You just came in, and some other people are even here. They are not. They came before you, and you are even the last on the queue. She wasn't like, you don't know this lecturer like I do. I'm telling you. They're just like police. If you are a girl, you have to present your body. You have to present yourself, and if you are a male, you have to You have to bribe them and all that. She was just saying different things like that. She was spoiling the lecturers, and the young man just was like that. After this man told Salman, because Salman was the name of that very lady that was at the last row. That was the last on the queue, and at the same time was complaining. So the man told Salman that, okay, you are Salman. He asked for her name. So okay, can you please allow this very Salman to address this very issue for us? So she was allowed to get to the front. For her to open the door and all that, there was a man that came out. The guy that I opened the door, because he was inside. That guy, he gave the key of that very office to the young man that she was telling that, you don't know his lecturer than I do. So the young man turned to be the lecturer that will be registering them. But the young man was cool. He did not even say anything. He was even humble and all that. It wasn't like, even all those people that were there, everything just changed like that. But this man was addressing this lady now, and not even do as if he was the lecturer, just like that. So after Ummi registered in that very place, she had to go to a departmental office, head of department, HOD. So when she got there, she entered, and as she came in, because normally I noticed something about this Ummi. According to what you will see in that very novel, that she observes things. She used to observe things. She used to have many things. She came in, she was like, this man has tribal mark. Oh. That means it should be an Igala person or a Yoruba person. And at the same time, so that necklace just gave her what hints on the HOD's religion. So after everything, he realized that the HOD greeted her very well and came closer to her. After she was asking her different things and all that, she was feeling uncomfortable that this man that is dressed very well like this come in and come and be doing all this. And don't forget, she had a lot of things from someone. The other time she was on the queue, that someone was like, if you are a girl, this is what you will do. If you are a boy, this is what you do. These lecturers are spoilt and all that. So she was like, that means this thing is occurring now and all that. So she was very angry with the man and all that. Even while the one was trying to present us different things and all that, she was just very angry. She was like, I want to collect my matric number. Your matric number, wow, you look beautiful than I think and all that. Like wow. The first thing that made her to be suspecting and all that was that he addressed her with my dear, and after that he came closer to her, and at the same time the next thing she realized was that you are beautiful than I imagined. She wasn't like because this thing is actually looking at like what Salma said. So that made her to be somehow. She was not. How would this be? To the extent that she had to tell him that, please, I want to use the toilet. That she's feeling that her stomach is somehow. That she was just complaining and all that she had to lie about her stomach just for her to get right to just for her to leave that very place at that particular time. But this man did not allow that. What did he say? He said, okay, you can use my toilet. She was like, who is this man? So after everything, she had no excuse, so she used the toilet. But normally it was a pretense. So even what she did, she just made sure that the water sounded as if she flushed something. You understand that kind of thing now? So she left that very place, and on getting out, the man gave her the matric number and she left. She actually remembered that the man was smiling, but she was like, you don't smile, daddy, something like that. You understand that kind of thing. And she was very angry. So and if you look at it very well, why was she angry? Because the man did not even. But we are still coming to that. So after everything, she also remembered that the man had to send his secretary to her that this is how you will do it and all that for directive. After she finished that she collected her matric number. And do you know her matric number? No, we still talk about that. So after that, after everything, she took a keke napep to a residential area where she lived with her husband. Now after she got home, her husband was not like, you can never know with people. You can never know with people. She now remember that it's true, something happened today. She quickly told her husband that this and this happened today. She did not hide anything from what happened at the Salman and the lecturer. Now let me tell you the name of the HOD. Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson. So note that. So they are like something like that. So after she narrated everything, she just found she just realized that her husband was just laughing. He could not even control himself again. He was just laughing. And after everything, the husband now told him that I told her that she be that Sam John. He said, that man, he was even the one that worked your admission. She was now ashamed of herself that I thought this man wanted to toast me. That was why I was doing all this and all that. So she had to beg her husband to beg the man, and that was the end of chapter 2. So now let's quickly look at what? Let's quickly look at the possible questions in this very chapter 2, and look at the key points that we can note in this very chapter 2. So question number 1: why was now in quotes it was double celebration of sorts used in the passage while Ummi was going to the university? I already told you, because what she married, she did her marriage, then she was married to her husband, and at the same time she gained admission. So you can check chapter 12 to understand that. That's the first paragraph of that very chapter. Question number 2: who agreed Ummi should get married before her graduation? It was her husband. It was her father. Just note that though, because you could be asked. Now, question number 3: who agreed that Ummi should get married before registration? Her husband agreed that. Now, question number 4: why would it be difficult to know the difference between students and teachers on campus? At the university, in the university, you realize that you would live any life that you want to live. If you want to be a thug, because nobody is monitoring you, understand? So you'll be free to do anything you want. So campus is another life entirely. Let me just say another kind of home entirely. Another life. Life is the best. It's another life entirely. So campus life should be well treated. There's no uniform. There's no uniform, specific uniform. Unlike, it's just only these people that are in law. Okay, let me get to that. No uniform, and the private dresses are not allowed. That's why there would be it will be difficult for you to know the difference between students and teachers on the campus. So teachers there are just referring to lecturers. So question number 5: what faculty would require dress code during classes? So actually the faculty will be faculty of law. So note that, faculty of law. Question number 6: state their dress code. Actually, when we are talking about boys, you realize that they will have black trousers, they will have white shirts, and black neckties. Actually, the same thing also, we have the same thing in girls, where we have a white shirt, just like we have like boys would have a white shirt, and also you have black tie, just like boys will have black tie. But the difference now is that instead of trousers there will be skirts. So note that. Question number 6: according to the novel, what did Ummi said Omah would notice first? Actually, Ummi was telling Omah that he would notice dressing. That there are difference in what they do there. What you would notice first will be on dressing. Question number 7: according to the novel, comprehensively describe Salman. Actually, the novel describes Salman as Salman was a fair complexion girl, tall, slim, rather busty, and she was always on tight fitting clothes, dark sunshades that accentuated her from formidable appearance. So different things like that, you understand? So question number 8: who was the last on the queue while Ummi was at the faculty registration officer? Just like I said, that would be Salman. Question number 9: who did Salman compared the lecturers to be? Policeman at the checkpoint. Question number 10: what was the full name of Salman? We have Salman rather. We have Salman Muhammad. So note that, you could be asked. because she took the larger part of the novel. Question number 11. Who was the young man interrogating Salman? He was the lecturer that they were waiting for on the queue. So question number 12. Why was the word comprehension dawned on us almost at once used by Ummi? Because the cool guy Salman was actually interrogating Salman was actually interrogating turned to be what the registration officer. Now, what was question number 13? What was the name of of the what was the name of the cleaner of the registration officer? If you were asked this, John, the man that opened the door and that came out that I'm done, sir. I know that they were amazed that so this young man has actually turned to a lecturer. I know that this very the man that was cleaning the office that they mistook to be a lecturer was actually John, a cleaner. Question number 4. Question number 14. Well, I'll add this with other questions that I've said earlier in question number in chapter 1. After Ummi registration, what did she proceed to? She proceeded to her department and to get her matric number, and then to get her matric number. Question number 15. Why was Ummi shocked after she saw the HOD to get a matric number? Actually, the first time she saw the HOD before she was feeling somehow and all that, she was shocked because this man was a very young man. Question number 16. Why did Ummi take the HOD as an Igala person or Yoruba? Just like I said, because of his tribal marks. Question number 13. Why was Ummi hint? Okay. What gave Ummi hint on the man's religion is necklace. Question number 18. From Ummi's point of view, what was etiquette? Actually, in her point of view, even when she entered that HOD office, she did not sit. She had to wait till he invited her to sit before she seated. She had a seat. Question number 1 to you. So you are invited to. Question number 19. What made Ummi to be on guard immediately she entered? Because the HOD addressed her as my dear. That's number 1. She remembered what Salma said after all, and at the same time, this very HOD made everything to like worsen the case when he talked about you are beautiful than I imagined and all that. So she was feeling uncomfortable in that very in that very room, in that very office. Question number: what was the name of the HOD and his highest qualification? That's Samuel Johnson. And even as young as someone as Ummi saw this very HOD, he was a PhD holder. Question number 21. What was the full name of Ummi? The full name of Ummi, according to the passage, we have Ummi Ahmad. Ummi Ahmad. These are some of the things you should note. And I said you should get a note and all that. Hope you are still jotting. Try to jot these stuffs down. Question number 22. According to Ummi's point of view of what religion what religion did he actually predict the man to be? She predicted that this very man would be a Muslim. So what made Ummi lied? What made Ummi lied that she was pressed? The other time she wanted to just excuse herself to leave and all that. She was like, I'm pressed, man. I'm pressed. I'm pressed. HOD and all that. She lied then. Why? She wanted him to let her go, but go work. She had to stay. What was Ummi's matric number? This one also is very very important. It's what? UG 0001. Question number 25. Why did Samuel Johnson send his secretary after Ummi after he had given her matric number and all that? Why? To inform her to proceed to what? To the 100 level coordinator for further processing. The next question. Why was the statement you you just can't be sure with people these days said by her husband? He was actually referring to what? To their quiet neighbor that happened to be a kidnapper. We'll talk about that in details in our coming chapter. So question number 27. Who was Dr. Sam John to Ummi's husband? Actually, this very man was his friend. Do you understand? His friend. Question number 28. That was why Ummi had to tell this very husband that, please, you have to beg. Please let me beg this man. I didn't do well and all that. So, not that. So, the husband had to beg the man. But that will be part of. I've even taken part of the first. What would I call it? Part of chapter 3. But no problem. We'll still talk about that in details. Question number 28. Who assisted Ummi's husband, with Ummi's admission? It was this same Sam John. So the husband gave him Sam John. Maybe that would be his nickname, and his full name is what? Samuel Johnson. To note that. Now we'll move to chapter 3, and in this chapter 3, let me quickly talk about the key topics that we're going to treat. We're going to talk about the quiet one. We are going to know more about the quiet one. We are going to talk about Zaki and Talle. We are going to talk about Talle's birth. We are going to talk about how Salman. We just an hint about the university. Now, starting from Talle, let me quickly summarize this very chapter 3. We have Talle there, right? He was the quiet one. No, now realize, I was telling you, I was talking about this very man, this Sam John, that at chapter 2, that Ummi had to beg her husband to beg Sam John. So that started chapter 3. So she told her husband to beg Sam John, and after that they later when she saw Sam John, that's 1 week after, it was as if there were nothing between them, and truly there were nothing. But Ummi did what she shouldn't do, like she was like, but that gave her rest of mind. So after that, after she told that very story, Omah reminded her that, how about the quiet one? Her husband wanted to talk about that we don't know, we can never know with people, like we can never know with people. Before she cut in and she talked about what happened in the school that very day, that university that very time. So Omah now came in that my mom, like he was talking to me that, please tell how about the quiet one? So okay, quiet one. So she started narrating the story of quiet one. So who was the quiet one? Talle. So Talle. So this very Talle, he was actually his parents normally when they wanted to give birth to him, like they were barren for a lot of years before they now got to meet the formidable booker of their community. And another thing I did not tell you about their community, that very community, Lafayette, is a community in which they live together and they know themselves. Understand? So there is no how, even if you are silent, they will know your name. Even though the quiet one is silent, like Talle, which they gave that name the quiet one. He was silent and he does not really talk with people and all that. I tell you, they still know his date of birth. So there's really nobody that they don't know very well. It is not even rare. They don't they what they don't know, and like they know all the people that are in that very community. So if they want to take in people, like if there is a stranger, they have to tell the Akimi, which was their what their ruler, that something like this, something like this, something like this, and the Akimi must just be what aware. You understand? So this very Talle, just like I was saying, when his parents were looking for child that you not see, they had to engage the service of what the formidable Booker, and through that very Booker, they got him. You understand? Though there were some controversies about how he was giving birth to. Some persons were like, maybe the man gave them charm, and some persons were like, maybe this man is this Talle was actually gotten from what, from the maybe intercourse between the wife, like the mother of Talle and the man. But after Talle was, so what we just know is that what they gave birth to Talle after they went to the Boka. So we don't really know how it came about. So according to Ummi. So now after Ummi said this very Talle, he grew up with what, with his stepmother. Like his mother died, and after the death of his mother, his father married a stepmother, and this very stepmother did not give birth to anybody, not give birth to any child till uh, that stepmother died. So now after the death of the stepmother, after the death of the like after the death of the mother, the mother had to take care of what, of Talle. You understand? So she was the one taking care of Talle till Talle grew up, but what, she did not give birth to any child, any son, any daughter like that. So after everything, we realized that he lost his father, so he was the only one there. So that made him more quiet. Though they realized that even while he was very young, he was normally quiet. So after that, it got him, and they were like that, till a day in which the silence of this very Talle was recognized to be, so that something is wrong. And how did that happen? Actually, people, normally they used to know themselves in that very community. Don't forget what I said. That Lafayette community. You can check the screen for the full name of that very community, and note that very community. So that very community, this where he used to buy something at the supermarket, they notice that these guys Kenya is double though. Normally if he used to buy something of 15 naira before, it has turned to 100 naira. If he used to buy something of 1,000 before, it has turned to 2,000. And even that this guy is a driver. How does he get this money and all that? So they had to call him. I know they did not call him at that point. So the person that noticed told others, and with that they had to when they realized that it persisted for a week, they went to the Akimi, that was their ruler in that Lafayette community. So they went to tell him that we realized this. So Akimi had to call Talle that people said they realized this, how come? So Talle was not telling them. Talle was not like, I want to buy these things so that the day I will not have money, I will be able to use them. So Akimi was now asking me that, how do you not get the money? He could not talk. So that was the very time that even the silence of the quiet one was not recognized to be it was not given honor, like it was not being honored. So they went like, why would he not answer that kind of thing? The same time they had the voice of a police van outside. So the police van came. The policemen, three policemen came in, and what they said, is this Lafayette community? They were like, we have who is Talle? Do you know who is Talle and all that? That we have we need Talle. Like, can someone take us to his house? So the Akimi was not like, on hearing Talle and all that. This guy had to what he. So on hearing Talle what? Talle wanted to run out, like he wanted to run away from that very place, but no, he could not. So they brought him back. The people that were in the Akimi, they brought him back, and they took everything went like that, and what they took out the guy that they went together to do the operation, because he was accused of what was accused of this kind of okay. They also took Zaki. So he was accused with Zaki to what to actually so he was took with Zaki, and he was accused with Zaki to what to actually be involved, like he was involved in what kidnapping, armed robbery, and what and extortion. So just like that, and they had to take him to the what to their police station. Their station. Hakimi asked them that can someone follow them and all that. He said, "Oh, no problem. That will be done." So they had to what he wanted to appoint someone to follow them to the town, but nobody were willing. Well, after that, they went to Talle's or house before they took him before they took him to their station. They went to Talle's house and they saw the boy. They saw one boy that had been there for what 1 week. So with that, they really they can with that they should understand that he was actually feeling that very young boy that for that very 1 week. That's why the food he started buying increased. Like he started buying two something and all that. So after that, we also need to know. Also after that, they've actually taken him. So his husband was like, you can never know about people. You can never, normally they thought that this guy, even he would be the least person to be expected to do that kind of thing. If they were looking at people that who can do this act, he will be the least person. You understand? So Talle was actually the least person they would suspect to actually be involved in that kind of thing. So they were very, very surprised, and that has never happened in Lafayette community. So note that. And after this, realized that what actually brought this issue up was Zaki having like he and this very Talle, they kidnapped a boy, and they were now asking ransom from the boy's father from 1 million. They brought that very money down to 1,500. So that made the person to know that these guys are not serious. That means they are not even really strong somebody. So so he told like this like Zaki and Talle told the man that he should not involve the police. But when they wanted to do when they wanted to give Zaki the money, they involved the police. He involved the police because he realized that these people are not really strong. If they are strong, they will not bring that very money down. You understand? So with that, he involved the police and they were arrested. So this led to Ummi also saying telling them about Salman, that Salman actually had to leave the university because she did not she due to exam malpractice, which they call what is the acronym for exam malpractice? Well, we'll still talk about that. Now let's move to the questions in chapter 3. Question number 1: why did Ummi stated the quiet neighbor tale to be more relevant to Omah? Actually, when she was saying it, she told Omah that what this tale would be more relevant to you. Why? Because he was the one leaving their community. That was what Lafayette community. Question number 2. In Lafayette community, who was in charge of the approval of a stranger? Just like I said, the district head, that the what Hakimi. Just like we have king here as the ruler, you understand? So, like in Yoruba land you have king, and just like that we have ruler and all that. So in this very setting they have what Hakimi as the district head. So you can also be asked that what who was the district head in that very Lafayette community? It is what Hakimi. So note that. Question number 3. And what was the wisdom of the tradition? The tradition of being not allowing stranger he must be the one to approve strangers before they can be allowed into that very community. It is to ensure that no criminal or fugitive from justice was harbored in the village. So and just like I told you, even though it was quiet, they knew themselves to the extent that they can even tell you his birthday. You understand? So they knew his birthday. Page 21. What was the quiet neighbor parents' character? They were what? Pious and humble couple. Pious and humble couple. Question number 5. What was the formidable traditional medicine man called in their community? Boka. Question number 6. What were the belief of the people about how the quiet one was battered? One was some persons were like maybe concussion and all that the man gave them for instant fertilization, or the Boka had affairs with what the mother. Question number 7. Who brought up the quiet one? His stepmother actually brought him up. Question number. What was the real name of the quiet one? Talle. Talle. Note that too. How and when did Talle's father and the stepmother die? They actually died. They died by a car accident. So I didn't say that before, but now you should note that they died by a car accident. Question number 10. What was Talle's work at the local government office? He was actually working as a driver. That was why they were thinking, you can't get this kind of money to be buying two double and all that. Question number 11. What was Talle's working hours? 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Question number 22. 12. Who were the first to notice Talle's market purchases were doubled? The people at the grocery store. Question number 13. What did Talle buy at the market the day he was summoned? Like he was called to meet the Hakimi. A few measures of rice and palm oil. Just imagine it. He bought rice and also palm oil. In Yoruba. So question number 14. What was Talle's reply to why he had started buying double? Just like I told you, he said he wanted to buy plenty so he would not suffer want in the event he had no money. Question number 15. How many police vans went to the Hakimi residence? We have 3 police vans that went to the Hakimi's residence. Question number 16. Why was Talle arrested? He was actually arrested, like he was found connected with what? With kidnapping, armed robbery, and what? Extortion, just like I said earlier. Question number 17. Who did Talle committed the crime with? Zaki. Zaki. Don't forget, we'll still talk about Zaki in our what coming chapters. Zaki. Question number 18. According to the novel, the statement Inna li wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Well, I don't really know, like I'm not really a Muslim, so I can't really say this very well, but I think you should get it. It means that what Allah will come, we like from Allah we came, unto him is our returning. Question number 19. Who whitened like who volunteered to follow the policemen to the town to report? Nobody. The answer is nobody. Nobody volunteered to follow these very policemen, but they were very eager to follow them to his house. So note that they were very eager to follow them to his house. How long did Talle keep the businessman boy in his house? For what? 1 week. Uh, are you still jotting? Question number 21. Why did the businessman reason that the kidnapper of his boy were amateurs? Because from 1 million they brought the money down to what? 1/4 million. That's what? That's quarter million. That's what? 250,000 naira. Question number 22. Who did Ummi liken Omah to be in the story of the businessman and Zaki, and why? Okay. The young boy that they kidnapped, that young boy that they kidnapped, that Ummi likened Omah that was living for that just gained admission to study law as what? As that very boy. So Omah was not like, no, there's no how I cannot be in, but actually he was referring to he was actually connecting Omah to that very young boy so that he can learn lesson. So question number 23. State the full meaning of the acronym IMAL. Just like I told you the other time that I will not I will still talk about the acronym. Examination malpractice is the same thing as what? IMAL. It is an acronym. That's what they gave it. It has different names. Examination malpractice. You know those names. Well, I will not talk much about it, but you should know those names. Well, if you consider it, let me just know that in the comment section. So we are through with chapter 3. Now let's move to chapter 4. In chapter 4 we have what? We have Salman with what? With Dr. Dabo. They met together like for a registration. Now we also have Salman and what? And our roommates. They talked about that. And also we have Salman and the two men she met while she was going to our hostel. So let's quickly talk about them. The first one, Salman and what? And Dr. Dabo. Actually, she proceeded to the registration office for what? For her registration. So when she got there, this Dr. Dabo was the what? Registration officer. So she got there and he was in charge of that very registration. So she got there and she registered and all that. She wanted to register, but I was telling you that what this girl was a reckless dresser. She was always dressed anyhow. Understand? And I'm telling you, she according to the novel, she was a kind of a very beautiful person. Understand? So and those guys that you see around would not just go without looking at her and all that. You understand, that kind of thing. And she used to wear this kind of clothes that is tight, that is tight fitted. So with this, she entered what? She entered Dr. Dabo's office, and this man could not resist it. The man that was a no nonsense man, according to the passage, was a no nonsense man. He highly disciplined. If you look at all those things that he does, he has his rules and all that. But when he saw Salman, I tell you, the rule broke. He had to just say it in a way that he was almost asking her out. Talking about can we be friends? Can we be intimate friends, intimacy and all that? That the girl had to rubbish him. Salman had to, because Salman know the rubbish person, so she rubbished him at that point, and to the extent that the man hated him at that instant, and hated her at that instant, and the man was kind of praying that she should not even report to the community, because he never did that. Like, that would be his first time, and it was because of the beauty of what of Salman. To know the kind of beauty Salman had, she was very, very, very beautiful. And if you are looking at this at this point of view also, normally if you want to enter a university, even if you are in a university, maybe you are going for a course or like that, the senior ones will tell you more about the junior ones, the lecturers. Some persons will tell you that, hey, that lecturer, Omah fail èèyàn ni o, he used to fail people and all that. Some will be like, that lecturer is a good person, that lecturer he knows how to teach, just like that. So she had a lot of things about him from the what senior ones, and now see that thing changed when she got there, just because what she was extremely beautiful. Now, after that, she proceeded to her what to her residential area. That's where she will be living, in the hostel. The hostel she was given was Queen Amina Hall. You understand? So that very hostel, at first she did not like her roommates, but later they got to love each other, and then they were sharing things together. They were sharing things together through the intervention of someone like one of them, and they were living together, four in a room. So that means she would have what, three roommates plus that would be what, that would be four. So just like that, they were sharing the same room, and there was peace. And also she had an encounter also with what, with two men. That she had an encounter with Labaran and the second one. So that day she was going to what, that day uh she was going back to the hostel. Then these people alighted and what, and carried her from there where she was. At first she was reluctant, and but later she entered, and after entering, the young man, one of them, spoke up and what, told her his name, as Labaran. She was not like, okay, Labaran. So I tell you, she mistook the owner of that very vehicle as Labaran at that very moment, because Habib was the one driving. Labaran was sitting beside him. So at first sight, just note that what, she took the owner of the vehicle to be Labaran. So that went like that, and what, they wanted to collect her number, and instead of her to give them her number, she gave the number of what, of one of her roommates. And that also, that her roommate was a very beautiful person also. She was dark and beautiful. If you look at the two of them, you see that what, even this very Tomiwa was kind of better than what, or than Tomiwa, according to than Salman, according to what they described in the what, in the novel. But the main thing why all people, if guys should see Tomiwa, the main reason why they don't really approach her is because she is too proud. You understand that kind of thing? Overconfidence. No, it's not even proud. She is overconfident. You understand? So if that's why guys do not really what, talk with her. Like, they don't really ask her out. So after that, it goes to that extent that what, they exchange number, and then everything went just like that. So there was a time, no, now they've taken Salman to a hostel, right? And Tomiwa also, which Salman gave them Tomiwa number instead of a number. Normally they will tell them that, we are coming back to pick you and all that. So, like, they will give you a call. Normally they thought it should be what, Salma's number. So when they called that very number, and it was picked by Tomiwa, they did like that and all that, and they what, they met Tomiwa outside that very Kuamina hall, and with that, they went to what, they went out. So now let me tell you, the man actually realized that what this is not the very girl that I what that they gave their what their that they gave a ride the first day with their Mercedes Benz. So they are using Mercedes Benz, but he was what like he kept his mouth shut because he did not really want to spoil the game. But later they had to realize that what so Tomiwa told him what happened, and okay, so he asked Tomiwa out that I like you like that also like that, and she agreed. Just like that, that led to what that led to a relationship between Tomiwa and what and the man. So after this very he started and all that, but that very day that they took Tomiwa out of the hostel, that very corner, I mean hostel, and she was trained to them normally. But later, he asked her and all that. That very day, uh, the man bought a lot of things for them that could last for another semester. You don't know that kind of thing. As Ummi described it, she said, if they did not bring anything for this semester, that very quantity of provision and all that they bought for Tomiwa that day, Habib was there, Labaran was there, that they bought for Tomiwa that day would be what? Be more than, like, it would last them for another semester. But you know that the four of them would be able to eat it for what? 2 semesters. So no, so that they can ask question on that. So she was also given money. That's what she was given 20,000, and she was given 10,000 to share with what her roommate. That will make 50,000. And Habib took, because she later got that what the owner of the car is Habib, was Habib, and at the same time Habib was honorable politician. So as they were talking, she realized that. So after this very stuff, she was taken back to her hostel, and she used to she Labaran and Habib will come regularly to pick her and all that, because they are actually having, just like I said, together. Chapter 5 ended with what? With talking about the last paper Salman failed. She failed last paper. What the last paper she failed? She failed moral philosophy. So she could not actually graduate from what with her what with her she could not actually graduate from that very university. Let me just say with her roommates, because though they did not really tell us much about the roommates again, but I think the roommate should graduate. But she did not actually graduate with what mate, and she was a B student. Even though she was doing all that and all that, she was a B student. So all of them in that very room was a B student. And at the same time, another thing about them is that they were the only one, her and her roommates. No, she did not like them at first, but later they got to love each other and all that, and the bond was very strong. Understand? So they had to be the only roommates that would live together for that very stay in their school. You know, they live together till they leave that very school. Now let's pick likely questions from this very chapter 4. Actually, I just summarized chapter 4 and 5. So let's quickly treat questions from chapter 4 and chapter 5. So from chapter 4, we have how old was Salman during her registration days? So normally in the question, she was barely 20 years old. So note that 20 years old. 2. Who was a highly disciplined lecturer that would what? That would use rules like don't come in after me. He is known as that. He was known to be a very highly disciplined person. Who? Dr. Dabo. Question number 3. Who made Dabo lost in supplication for so long after she left? Okay, what made Dabo after she left? That she referring to what? Ummi. So the word intimacy, because he said intimacy. Actually, when he was thinking about friends, he was like, oh, friends is still somehow, and they might not really. But he was like, Intimacy. If the committee should hear intimacy, that means all the stuffs he has been gathering all over these years would just spoil like that. All the names he has been gathering just spoil like that. So he was very he hated himself that day, and he was lost in supplication, praying to God that what someone should not disgrace him. Question number 4. How many roommates were found per room in what Salma's hotel? Actually, they are always we have 3 roommates, just like I told you. They were always like 3 roommates, but 4 in a room. You understand? So they can use it to trick you. And what do we call roommates? These are the people that live with you in what in a room. Like, in an hotel you have what you have different rooms. So in a hostel you have different rooms. Now in that very room you have people that are living together, right? So just like imagine if you know something like bunk. Now a bunk can contain 2 people at a time. If they like the size of a bunk, there's a 2-step bunk that can contain 2 people at a time. So if they have 2 of that bunks like that, that will be 4. You understand? So 4 roommates, like they will have 4 people in a room. But if you are talking about Salma's roommates now, there are 3, because someone is excluded. Do you understand? So they can use that to trick you. So just note that. Question number. So just know. Let me just quickly tell you more about our roommates and Salma was from the north. Tomiwa was from the west. That's Ibadan, to be precise, or your state. Ngozi was from what? Umunzi, that's Imo State. And Ada was from what? Benue State, or Middle Belt. So just note that. So the next question: what was the name of our hostel? Actually, the famous Queen Amina hostel. Just note that, Queen Amina hostel. What were given to girls living in that Queen Amina hostel? Actually, number 1, they were given happening babes or sophisticated ladies. Happening babes or sophisticated ladies. Question number 7. For at least how many semesters stroke how long would roommates live together in their hostels? 2 semesters. But in case of these people, these very Salma and her friends, they lived together for what? For all the semesters they used there. Question number 8. Who made Salman and her roommates cooking together possible, and how? It was Ngozi that made it possible for all these people to be cooking together. Normally when they came in, they were cooking separately, but Ngozi would actually caused it for them to be cooking together, because she was generous. Even if she would cook her food, she would also cook their food also. They're like, come and eat now and all that. So they will share the food and all that. So with that, unity was brought together, and they started cooking together. Question number 9. List Ada, Tomiwa, and Salma's delicacy. Actually, the delicacy of Ada, rat. Tomiwa was what? Snail. Salman, Danwa K, delicacy. So note that. Question number 10. Categorize the 4 friends religiously. We are talking about their religion. You have Salman and Tomiwa to be Muslims. We also have Ada and Ngozi to be what? Christians. So what almost separated the intimacy between Salman and Tomiwa, and who intervened? Actually, Ada and what? Ngozi intervened. And do you remember the 2 guys that took Salman the other time? That took Salman to what? That took Salman on the road, and they were asking for a number, but she gave them the wrong number. She gave them Tomiwa's number, and in which when they picked Tomiwa actually accepted to be in affairs with what? To be in a relationship with that very man. So that man at first gave Tomiwa 20,000 and gave others 10,000. So she was jealous of that, and she was what? She almost fought with her for that. Though I gave him your number and all that, but it's not good. Though. So I just went and did, and you've collected someone like that and all that. So that kind of thing. You said you did not want, and she wanted, and that landed to another thing. But actually, these stuffs are not really good. But the thing is, she was jealous at that very particular time. 12. How far is Ibadan, Oyo State, from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria? According to the novel, we can see that what 8 hours. 8 hours. So we have what were the names of the men that Kwangila. Okay. What were the names of the men that took Salman from Kwangila to our hostel? That was the place they took Salman before they took her to our hostel. A. Actually, the answer is what? Labaran and what? And Habib. Habib was the what? The chief speaker of the what? I honestly talk about it, but just know that Habib was the chief speaker. At first, who did Salman took as the car owner? She took Labaran as the what? Car owner. What was the name of the car? She took the name of the car happened to be what? Happened to be Mercedes Benz. So now let me quickly talk about the questions in what? Chapter 5. Now I summarize chapter 4 and 5 together because they look related. Chapter 5. What was the reason why nobody ever attempted to go out with Tomiwa? A. The answer actually is what? Overconfidence, just like I told you the other time. Overconfidence. Though she looked very good, but the overconfidence made her to what? To be awkward to actually talk with. Question number 2. What did Habib instructed Labaran to get from Tomiwa? He instructed Labaran to get fried rice, note that, chicken, milk, tea, beverages, sugar. Question number 3. According to the novel, what made Tomiwa to sit at the back while she was picked for the first time? Actually, she did not know anything, and according to the novel, Tomiwa was a very bold person and sharp. So she was like, I think it will be very good for me not to stay at the front at this very particular time, because I don't know if they are kidnappers and all that. So she had to stay at the back. Even when normally Labaran was at the back, she had to instruct Labaran to go to the front back for her to sit at the back. Question number 4. What made Tomiwa to dislike politicians? According to her, she said they were like a spindle, no direction. They lie a lot. Instead of solving problems, they would be the problem. So question number 5. How much did Habib handed to Tomiwa on the first date? Like the first time he took her out, that very first time. He gave Tomiwa 50,000 naira. So which she shared. He told her to take 20,000 and give the rest 10 to her roommate. So note that her roommates were given 10,000 while she was given 20,000. So making a total of what? 50,000. Note the analysis. She was too happy that what? She started calling him Alaji. Not that kind of thing. That you were like saying it before. You were like something like that before. Because of money, she started calling him Alaji, something like that. Money, money. So question number 9. What was the reaction of Tomiwa's roommates to the promotion Alaji gave her? Immediately when they saw it, they jumped up and embraced Tomiwa. They were like, wow, they were like praising him, thank you and all that. So and with that they talked about what Alaji gave them to land them for 2 semesters. Now, I want to tell you the difference between terms and semesters. I know that normally in that very school you are right now, it is terms that you know. You have three terms, right? Okay, in our university setting, instead of three terms, they are called semesters. So instead of three terms in what in a section, it is what two semesters in a section. There's nothing like first term, second term, third term. It is what first semester, second semester. So note that before you what gain admission. I know your admission will be yours. You just try to what put God first and what and read hard. Be passionate about it and also what let your passion make you to be consistent with reading and you will what you will succeed. Question number 10. What was the unfinished meat? Okay, where was the unfinished meat and the chicken kept? They were kept inside what Ada's fridge. Ada's fridge. Question number 11. According to the academic performance, which of the academic classes were they? Those guys were actually a second class upper students. Do you understand? A B student. So you can say a B student or a second class upper student. Okay, don't worry, you still understand this B student and a second class upper student. I would have loved to just quickly analyze it, but with the time, maybe we'll talk about that in another day. So now, question number 12. What is a CGPA? It was mentioned in that very novel. So please note that a CGPA is what cumulative grade point average. You could be asked to, are you still jotting? Don't be tired. You are there. You are still there. You'll be there. You'll be there. Question number 13. What was Salman and our friends? Okay. What was Salman and what were our friends last final year paper? What were their final year paper? Moral philosophy. One of the courses under GST, that's General Studies paper. You understand? Under GST. Some schools will call it GNS. That's so just like that. General Studies. Some schools will call it GNS. Some schools will call it GST. So depending on that very school, but it is everybody that is in that school that would offer that very course. You understand? So it is a general course, and it's always based on English. Just note that. But the difference there is now is that it will be an application of things that you need. Like this one now is based on moral philosophy, right? So philosophy, and things like that. Now let's move to chapter 6 and chapter 7. So in chapter 6, the key topics we are going to talk about will be how they expelled Salman plus Kola. We'll talk about the new HOD and Salman. Then we'll move to chapter 7, where we have Salman. She went to meet Habib so that he can give her money or influence that very that examination malpractice, so that she won't be sent out of the university. And we also have her being duped by Dr. Dabo. So let's commence. Chapter 6. With chapter 6, you realize that she was actually preparing for an examination. What was the name of the examination? She was preparing for moral philosophy. That's a general course, GST. I think I talked about that in chapter 5. So this is very GST. She was preparing for it, and the thing there is that she did not really read. She did not go to the classes. She did not go for classes. She did not go for those classes, and so during the examination hall, she was just like normal stuff that we used to do. Because I told you that she was a B student with her class, with her roommates, that they were even jealous of them. That second class upper. So she was a B student. Then in this very scenario, she did not go for those classes. She was like, they used to repeat questions over the time. Like last year, they will just repeat the question of last year for this very year, and they will just maybe if they will even deduct anything or they will remove anything, it will just be some kind of things like that you can really easily get even without you getting to the class. So things like that. She was like, this question will be repeated again, so I don't need to go for that very class. So but she revised with those students that went there, their roommates. She revised with them and everything. On getting to the examination hall, it was another thing entirely. Those students that the classes were writing, because she looked through, she was like, these guys are writing, all others are writing, just except her. She was not writing. Hey, something like that. So with that, she had to tap the guy beside her, and that guy happened to be Kola, the brightest student in their what in that very class. So she had to tap Kola that, Kola, please, I beg now, something like that. So she used the student magic on him, and this student magic, according to the novel, was described as a kind of act. You will be talking with the next person beside you in the examination hall, but the lecturer will not know that your lips are moving, things like that. That's exactly what they described student magic to be. So he used it on Kola, and Kola was reluctant at first, but because of her persistence, she was persistent with it and all that. So he had to he had to just write something down and give to Salman. But before that very time, the lecturer noticed that Salman was not really writing. That was the invigilator. Noticed that Salman was not really writing. So, and she looked at her dress and everything that very time, because that was Salman's last paper. So she wanted to look the best she could look. So I told you that she was a reckless dresser. So she dressed somehow, and she just made sure that everybody could see things that just like that. So with that very kind of form of with that kind of dress, the lecturer saw and she hated her immediately. Just like she saw her, she hated her immediately before she even collected that very cheat paper from Kola. So she collected the cheat paper from Kola, but she could not write it because she was focusing on the lecturer, the invigilator also. But with time, the invigilator went out. So with that very because the invigilator went out, she could actually open that sheet notes to write and everything. She did not know when the invigilator came back, because she was still busy writing that very thing that was inside the cheat note. And later on, she did not know even when the lecturer came to her side. She was still writing it. So the lecturer waited and noticed what she was doing very, very well, because lecturer was like, this girl was not writing when I saw her, and then now she has started writing. So she went there to check what could have actually happened, and she realized that very cheat note. So she collected the cheat note, and she told the security man that was beside her to bring the email form. That exactly what I told you the other time. What do I mean by email? Email was what? According to novel, email is an acronym for what? Examination malpractice. You understand? So email form. So she had to fill the form, and it ends like that. It ended like that, but it didn't end like that. She had to be taken. She was taken to what? She was taken to the HOD to report all these things that someone cheated and all that. So that was how the case was filed, and she had to she had to meet with the IMEC. What is IMEC? We have a body that is actually governing something like examination malpractice. I'll also tell you the full meaning as we proceed. So let's quickly move to chapter 7. In chapter 7 now, normally now all offenders, if they have offended, if they have offended like that, they will look for a way out. So she knew that this very stuff is what she knew that the solution, the result of this very email, the examination malpractice she did, would be expulsion. That she would be expelled from that very university, and she would not like that. So she had to what? Tell Tomiwa that, Tomiwa, please, you have to tell Habib, that your Habib, that please, you want me to work this stuff out. I told you that Tomiwa went out with Habib that very day. So they are very close. They were very close at that very time. So they were very, very close, Habib and Tomiwa and all that. So you had to tell Tomiwa, and Tomiwa had to speak with Habib about issue and all that. So with this, Habib invited Salman, the person that did that Salman, to what? To his office, and they talked. But Habib told Salman that what? Before he would be able to do that, then they have to what? They have to have this kind of relationship and all that. So she agreed, and he had to sleep with her. If you check that very story, they kept it smooth, but he had to sleep with her before he gave her the money, like 300,000. Though normally before that very money, it was like, should we tell Professor Dabo? Should we tell Professor Dabo? And if you realize that what? If you realize Professor Dabo was the person Salman abused the other day. That what? You cannot even see fine girl and live like that. You cannot even see fine girl. What you'll be doing is to what are you guys teaching students in this very campus and all that? So with that, she did not want Professor Dabo to what? To be the one that would intervene. So she had to tell that very Habib that please, Honorable, you have to look for another person. So with that, Honorable looked for Honorable gave her money to settle herself, because she was like she will meet the chairman of that very IMEC, yeah. So with the money she collected the money, and though she did not give all the money to the person she thought would be one of the community member, because the person actually turned out to be another person entirely. That person was not a community member, just because they used to call that very person doctor. She thought that, yeah, doctor, oh wow, that's okay. So she gave that very guy. What is the name of that very guy she gave? Dr. Kabir. So with that, because she did not know, she thought that guy was a. But we'll also talk about that guy in details in the next chapters. So with that, so that was how chapter 7 ended. So let's quickly see some likely questions. Now let's quickly see the possible questions we can bring out from this very novel, and key points. Chapter 6. Question number 1. We have why did Ummi say general studies course like moral philosophy was considered easy? Actually, the reason she said that because the aggregation, like that very course, would comprise of the aggregation of what their parents would have been teaching them normally when they were very small till now, and what their imam or pastors do say. Do you understand? What their pastors and imam would have been also telling them. So question number 2. What guaranteed Salman's success in an examination without attending classes? Actually, she actually realized that lecturer had foolishly been recycling the same question without minor with even if there will be difference in those questions, there will be just minor modification. So she was like, just revision with those questions would help me to get at least B. Would help her to get at least B. So question number 3. What moral philosophy difficult? Okay, question number 3. Why was moral philosophy difficult for Salman? A. The answer is that she didn't attend classes. You understand? Because other persons that attended those classes were able to write them correctly. Were able to write at least while she was in the exam hall. Question number 4. Who was the brightest student in Salman class? We have Kola Wole Abdul. He was the one that the color she tapped, she used the student magic on. So what was the student magic Salman used on Kola? Okay, actually this is just a definition of student magic. A student magic was a what? According to them, was a trick student developed of speaking to what? To the next person without moving their lips. Question number 6. Why didn't Salman notice the arrival of the lecturer after she collected the coded response from Kola? The answer: she was busy trying to what? Trying to get the code and write that very code on her answer booklet. Question number 7. After Salman filled the email form, who signed as a witness? Actually, after she filled it, I told you that what the security man was told to what? To bring the email form. So that very email form, after she filled it, Kola signed it, and what? The second female student beside her. There will be someone beside you, like by the right. There will be someone beside you by the left. So Kola that was beside her filled it, and also the girl that was beside her also filled it. Question number 8. Who persuaded Salman to sign the email form? Actually, she was reluctant to sign it, but the security man persuaded her to fill it, that the HOD, there are several cases like that, and HOD will just forgive them, that it won't even get to the email. Question 9. What was the name of the lecturer who caught Salman cheating? Actually, the name of the lecturer was mentioned while she was in that very office, in the HOD office, while she was reporting that very case. That was when the name of the lecturer, if you want to verify, Dr. Amino. Question number 10. What was the name of the committee in charge of email? We have, actually, I was telling you that we are talking about EMEX. I've been talking about EMEC. So that the full meaning of EMEC: Exams and Ethics Committee. Question number 11. At the long run, did Salman implicate Kola? Yes, she actually implicated Kola. Question number. Okay, let's move to chapter 7. Question number 1 from chapter 7. After receiving a letter, when was Salman told to report to the Imal, that's IMEC, the Imal committee? A week's time. So note that. Question number 2. Don't worry, with time I would upload. Okay, we'll talk about that. Question number 2. When was the first time Salman got to Habib's office? When she was actually soliciting for help on email. That was when she had to go to tell Tomiwa that please now help me to work this out and everything. And she worked it out, and she went to Habib's office to solicit for his help. That was the first time she would get to Habib's office. She was not like, assuming I had known, I wouldn't have let this guy down when he was telling me. I now gave him a wrong number. So question number 3. What was Habib's full name and his political nomenclature? Actually, in that very like when she was with Habib, Salman saw his name boldly written. That was Habib Lawa, speaker. So he was the speaker of the house. She was not like, what kind of evil spirit? She was not like, what kind of evil spirit was following her? Question number 4. What did Salman call the chairman of IMEC? She called the chairman of IMEC Professor of Biological Sciences. Question number 5. Who did Salman give 100,000 to silence the Imal case on her behalf? She gave Dr. Mohammed Kabir. But actually, we realized that Dr. Mohammed Kabir was not even a member. He was just a laboratory attendant. See something like that. Question number 6. According to Salman, why did she decline sleeping with Dr. Habib. Actually, she declined it because actually she said that she declined it because they like that very IMEC, they would have 4 members, and just imagine a member came to you and you want to say you would like to silence the case, then you will now offer sleeping with that very member to what, just for you to silence the case. No, it won't work. The other 3 also will be there that you also must what, sleep with them, something like that. So she was like, no, I will not give you my body. What I will give you is what? Money. Question number 7. Why did Salman conclude, except her father, no man indeed was worthy of what, of being called a man. She said this because all the men she was actually meeting were actually treating her based on her look, not her essence. Just because she was beautiful, they were treating her as that, like that. If you look at Kola, even that Kola that she was talking with that time, Kola that she was talking with, you know what? That very Kola asked her out at first. She did not answer. The brightest student in their class, she did not answer. She was just like, let us be just normal friend. I don't want anything like that. But later, because this very Tola was teaching her, was persistent with it and all that, she had to accept that kind of relationship with him. That was when she actually stated the statement. So question number 8. According to IMEC chairman, what was Salman asked why Kolawole supplied the notes? Actually, to establish, okay. You know what? Salman collected notes from Kolawole, right? So the head of that very IMEC now told her that the reason why they asked her about if who Kolawole was to her was because they wanted to be sure, that they wanted to establish if there was any monetary motive behind what Kola did. Because normally now you can't imagine Kolawole that was the brightest student to be kind of what do I call it, to be kind of carefree to the extent that you want to lose his schooling, especially when that will be the last paper. Question number, okay, we are done with chapter 6 and chapter 7. Now let's proceed to chapter 8 and chapter 9. The key topics in chapter 8, we have truth about Dabo. We'll talk about Zaki and Dabo. Then that means Zaki is what reoccurring in this very place. Do you remember the story I told you about Zaki and Talle? We'll connect that. We'll talk about Labaran and the money Zaki gave him, and we also talk about how Salma felt after the death of her father. So question number so we'll move to chapter 9 also, which is the last chapter. So we are almost done with this very video. We have Salim nasty experience with the ugly girl, and also with the car snatcher, which happened to be Natasha. So we'll talk about that, and also talk about Salim. We'll talk about her fiance and also her marriage. So starting from chapter 8, what actually happened, the truth about Dabo. I told you that it's not Dabo, Kabir. I wanted to say Kabir. So Dr. Kabir actually was actually given doctor from his secondary school age. So he was given a nickname called Doctor. Then after that, when he also wanted to be a laboratory attendant, his HOD called him to ask him that what's his name. He told him Mohammed Kabir. So his HOD gave him the name Dr. Kabir instantly, and with that, people started calling him Kabir. You understand that kind of thing now? So he was not even was not even a strong person like that, just a laboratory attendant. And Omah Salman had to what? Salman had to give this very Kabi the what? The money. She did not even know. So before that very time, there was a relationship between Labaran and what? And Salman. So that was why Salman told Labaran, and Labaran told had to make it known to what? The second man, like that, Habib. So there was a relationship between Habib also and what? And Tomiwa. So note that. Though before Habib, that speaker, could give Salman the money, he had to what? Sleep with her. So note that. But they did not talk about that in that very. They silent it. But I don't know if it would be asked. So just like that, he had to tell Habib, and Habib was like, who should we engage? Because Salman was like, no, this man must not go unpunished. That he collected his money, he just duped him of what? Duped her of 100,000 naira. So Habib had to engage the service of what? Of Zaki. That was when they were not talking about Zaki, that actually, the issue that happened between him and Talle costed Habib had to pay a lot before they could be rescued, and after they were rescued, Talle was told never to go to Lafayette community again, that he should what? Stay in another community. So he was in another village living there, but he was told never to return to Lafayette again, because they knew what actually happened that very time. So he had to bail him out and all that. So they wanted to use this same Zaki to fight Dr. Kabir, and they used him. There was this day that Dr. Kabir went to where he used to gamble. So when he got there, he gave them money, and he went there with 50, and he won almost like 300,000 that very day. He went there with 50,000, he won 300,000. So so he wanted to leave the place, because normally he used to he did not used to win. So that day just wanted to leave, that you don't do now, let me quickly be going, you understand, that kind of thing. So as he left like this, the man that was the head of that very gambling group just whispered to one thug that he should deal with that very Dr. Kabir. And normally that thug was with him, was following him step by step till he got to a place. So when this man got to a place, then that very thug had to fight with him and all that, so that he could collect that very money. But he was not able to collect it, because Zaki also was following Kabir at that very particular time. So he overpowered the thug, and that thug, this power big past my own power. So the thug had to flee for his life. He fled for his life. So we were left with what? There at that very scene, we were left with only Kabir and Zaki. So Zaki collected the money, and he handed the money over to Labaran. But in that very point, we cannot really say if Zaki killed Labaran or not. But in that very passage, they said that okay, I will talk about that in the question aspect. So with that, Labaran also was like, I can't give Habib this very money. So he did not want to give Habib that very money. So we'll talk about Habib. We'll talk about that as the reason why he did not want to give Habib that very money in the question part. So now that will lead us to where Salman's father died. She died, and during that very death, that really changed Salman. So Salman had to change. She was not the kind of person she used to be. So she changed the mode of dressing and all that. So that was when Ummi said she started relating with her, and with that she got all these very details. Understand? Now, during this very process, Omah was like, wow, because when Salman's father died, that Salma came back from home and all that. that they were talking together in the hostel and they were sharing experience. They were like, why do you used to bury your best your dead like your loved ones that are dead? Why used to bury them quickly? Some persons were talking like that and all that. Not like so. With that, they demonstrated love at that particular place, that very time. So they demonstrated love. So they had to what? Just leave. Like they had to sympathize with her that what she lost her father, and with that, Omah was now talking to Ummi that wow, an interesting story. So these very girls, they relate, they relate with themselves very, very, very well than what we could actually think. So it was like wow, relationship between these very girls. Wow, that he actually loved the relationship between those girls. So Tima, don't forget that Tima was always what against Omah. So it was not like how you not like it when they were girls. So it was not like I will remove someone's teeth here. That Omah was talking to Tima that I will remove someone's teeth here. Tima was not like and someone will not get his phone here. That's not that kind of thing. Smartphone here, like someone will not get his smartphone here. So that reminded Ummi the experience, the smartphone experience that what Salman told her. So she wanted to tell Omah about this very experience. So that would lead to chapter 9. We have Salim. Salim was was actually the boyfriend of Salman at that very particular time when she was narrating it. So Salim was relating with Salman, but Salim had to tell Salman this very story about his nasty experience with phone. Normally, Salim was on different social media. He was on Tugo, he was on Twitter, he was on Facebook, different social platforms. So after that, he collected someone's like he used to chat with girls and all that, dating and all that. So there was this girl that chatted him up, like that added him, Natasha, and there was another girl also, one ugly girl. He met that very girl, but normally when he came to his friend that let's go to this very girl's house, that but you have Salma now. He said, but we have to, you understand? Though I know that someone will be my wife, but no, let me also get this kind of enjoyment before we start. Before we get married. So he now told he told his friend to go with him, but his friend was reluctant. So he had to leave, and he went by himself to Natasha's place. Not Natasha, the girl's place. So when he got to that very girl's place, he realized that that very girl was ugly. You understand? That she was ugly. So he now came back to tell his friend that hey, that girl was ugly, So as they were interrogating, his friend actually had experience of something like that. So he was not like okay, something like that. So they were talking. He was not telling him about the characteristics of girls online, that some will even kill their relatives. Like they will use their mouth to kill their relatives so that they can collect money, and some would trick you so that they can just get your money. Some will start from the charge card till they get to them collecting real money to their account, something like that, and they will just be lying and all that. So that reminded Salim of his another experience he had with Natasha. Natasha happened to be the one that added him on Facebook. So he added him, and he was talking with Natasha and all that. So while he was going through Natasha's profile, he realized all these beautiful pictures that would be half naked and all that. So just like that, and he realized that even these very chats, these girls' chats were chats that were very seductive. So he was lured with that combine the chat and the appearance of Natasha, like on her profile picture. It was like it will require a strong man to be reluctant to this kind of offer. So he had to talk with Natasha, and then he started dating Natasha, and with that, there was a day Natasha invited him to her place. So okay, I will come and all that. So this very story, he was actually narrating it to what? To don't forget, he was talking to his friend at that very particular time. So he now told his friend that when he got there, actually Natasha was actually beautiful than what he even saw online. Was like wow, was like impressed. And that day he went with his father SUV car. You understand? His father sport utility vehicle. You can call that a jeep. Yeah. So as he went out and he got there, so he realized that after everything, Natasha happened to be what? A car snatcher. She almost snatched that very car from him. But what helped him was that, okay, let me quickly narrate it. When he got there, Natasha beckoned on him and he went to meet Natasha after he stopped the vehicle and all that. So he went to meet Natasha by the roadside. Yeah, he just, so some guys just came and they told him that they told him someone had gone, like there was gone. Something like that. Oh yeah, we are enter the car, something like that. So he entered the car. He was told to enter the car, but he was told to sit at the back. Then Natasha also was told also to sit at the back, but they took them as if they were actually going to kidnap them or something like that. So Natasha and and this very boyfriend together. Now, what Natasha said at that very place made him to be curious, but he did not really understand what was going on at that very place. You understand? So Natasha was like, please don't touch him, don't touch him, and don't please. Okay, Natasha said that please don't hunt him, and you, my dear, give them whatever they want, please do not shoot us. Natasha said that. So that made him to be like, please don't hunt him. But they took you also inside this car forcefully now. Oh, so he got the message at that very place. You understand that kind of thing now. So when he got the message, they were actually so they told him that he should because they wanted to on that very vehicle to start that very vehicle so that they will be moving, but they could not start it. So after everything, they told him to come over, and he started it. So he was the one driving, but they told him to drive that very vehicle to their office. So they were directing him and all that. Just got to a place that he was like, there's nothing he can do again. He just changed the gear and he just pressed the acceleration button and all that. He accelerated to the extent that he was just speeding and all that. The speed was very much. So with that kind of the speed, he did not know when these guys left the car. I'm telling you, they left the car. They ran for their life. Maybe they flew from through the window and all that, but they ran for their lives. But normally, it was certainly that they would have collected the car if he did not put in that kind of speed. So he was just kind of accelerating that very car. And another thing you should note is that even the acceleration, before he could slow down, I'm telling you, it took kilometers. You get mine though, something like that. So his friend complimented him to be Lawal actually called Salim a wonderful guy. So don't forget, his friend's name, according to the passage, is Salim. Understand? Salim. Lawal rather. The friend of Salman, Salim. The friend of Salim was Lawal, according to the passage. So with this, we were told that finally, so that was the nasty phone experience, like the phone experience of Salim. So after Ummi narrated that, it just told the children that Salman had to marry Salim at last. So they did engagement, they did marriage, like they married themselves, and after that, so Salam and Salim married themselves, and after that we also so that will be the end of chapter 8 and chapter 9. Now let's check possible questions from those chapters. So let's start from chapter 8. Question number 1. How did Muhammad Kabir earn the name Dr. Kabir? Just like I told you, number 1, he had this very nickname while he was in secondary school, and what? This very name also was confirmed by his HOD while his HOD called him Dr. Kabir. Question number 2. On the day Zaki traded Kabir to one of his gambling joints, how much did he win? That very day that Kabir went to the gambling joint, like he won 50,000, and like with 50,000 Zaki won 300,000. Question number 3. Who was the leader of the gambling group? Kabir was the leader. Okay, who was the leader of the gambling group Kabir went to? Katagi, Kartagi. So Katagi. Question number 4. What was the name of the thug Katagi sent after Kabir? Gumuzu, Gumuzu. So question number 5. Who killed Kabir? Actually, you could give us question like this, but just like I told you that time, we can't really say if Kabir was killed or not. But just note that what they use the sentence. Just note that they use the word you can see on the screen right now, which could mean that what the guy was sick. That like Kabir was sick, and what so they just note that they use the sentence you can like they used what you can see on the screen right now. So just note that they used what you can see on the screen right now in that very novel, and it could mean maybe Kabir died or what, or he could mean Kabir died or so that very word you can see on the screen right now could mean Kabir died or Kabir was sick. You understand? So something like that. Question number 6. How much did Kagi collect from how much did Zaki collect from Kabir? He collected 300,000. Question number 7. How much did Labaran give Zaki for the service? After everything, Labaran took 50,000 out of that very 300,000 that Zaki gave him for what? For him to enjoy himself. So he gave him 50,000 out of that 200,000. Now, if you realize it, Labaran did not give Habib the money. So what was the 3 reasons why Labaran did not give Habib? Number 1, Habib was the speaker of the house, so it was like he did not need to just to give him that kind of money. You understand? 3,000, 300,000. Another thing, it was like Habib was in no position to collect that very money, to know about the money at all. So far, he knew that Salman cannot just, and also he knew that Salman cannot just give, he cannot just give Salman that very money. Someone had to maybe had slept with him or something like that. So he knew that no, this money was actually as a result of service. Question number 9. According to Tima, why did Omah want a smartphone? Actually, according to Tima, Omah wanted to get a smartphone so that he can pursue girls, just like what Omah was using to whine him, to annoy him when he said, "Wow, these girls, I love how they are actually living with each other." So question number 10. When did Ummi allow Salman in her life? Answer: when she changed her ways after her father's death. I told you that after her her father's death, she changed her way. And why? And why did Ummi allow her into her life? Why did Ummi allow Salman in her life? Actually, because he realized that what the level of seriousness and commitment of Salman changed. So actually, page 70 and page 71, you will check them, you will realize that what they are the same. So let's move to what page 72. Who discovered several dating sites? That's chapter 9. We are now in chapter 9. Who discovered several dating sites and downloaded the app? It was Salim. It was Salim. So note that. And also try to note the name of that very phone. So, and Salim during that time was what? Was still Salman fiance. They not married, but they still married before we end this very novel. Question number 2. List the instant and distant social outlets Salim was using. He was using Facebook, he was using Twitter, he was using Instagram, he was using WhatsApp, Badu, Tugo, WeChat, and the likes. Question number 3. What was the name of Salim's friend? And the name of Salim's friend, according to passage, we were given Lawal. Lawal. You understand? So get that. What did Lawal say about online relationship? He said number 1, that those girls will start from what? From demanding for recharge card to money. He also said that what? Some persons would even kill their relatives for you to send funeral money. Like they will kill their relatives with their mouth. Those relatives are there, but they say that like one of my mother and all that, like they are dead. Please help us to send money so that we can cater for it and all that, so that we can do the funeral and all that kind of things like that. You understand? Question number I said question. So another one he said that another one would even what there will be another one will even tell you to visit that visitor, and after that you will not meet her where she told you she would be. What you just realize is that you could not meet her, but she will be telling you that I just left for somewhere, or different things like that, stories like that. They will telling you, but you will not actually meet that very girl. So it was not like you are even lucky that this your ugly girl still allowed you to see her. So question number 5. Why did Salim tell his friend to follow him to his social media girlfriend place? That was the ugly girl he met when he wanted to go to that ugly girl's place. Why he insisted on seeing her in the afternoon, and why he insisted on seeing her in the afternoon? Actually, the Natasha he was talking about earlier was actually like he met Natasha during the night. You understand? Evening, night. So he did not want to go at that very time. He wanted to go in the afternoon, so that he would see these very persons very well, and that scene will be clear. But the reason, because he had bitter experience, the reason was that he had bitter experience with what? With Natasha. So question number 6. What did Natasha tell Salim to pay? When did Natasha tell Salim to pay her a visit? By 8 and 9 in the evening. You understand? By 8 and 9 in the evening. Question number 7. According to Salim, what was military parking in Nigerian parlance? According to Salim, what was military parking in Nigeria parlance? It was actually talking about the maneuvering of cars to face where they were coming from while parking them. Question number 8. What car did Salim take to Natasha's place? I told you he took his father SUV car, sports utility vehicle, Jeep. So that will be Jeep. Understand? Jeep instead of SUV. So number 9. who made the statement, please don't haunt him, and you, my dear, give them whatever they want, please do not shut us. Natasha. Please note this, you understand? Natasha. Question number 10. Why did Lawa call Salim a wonderful guy? Just imagine, why did he call him? He actually called him a wonderful guy because after the experience he had with that ugly girl, he still had the guts, or what would I just say, the strength, or he still had that boldness to chat another girl up on social media. So that was the reason why he called him a wonderful guy, because his experience with Natasha did not teach him any lesson. He was still chatting with another friend on social media. Now, last question: who married Salman? Tell me. Salim. So thank you very much for watching this very video to this end. If you have questions, or you have contribution, or you have something to add, leave it at the comment section. And also don't forget to subscribe to this very channel. If you also like this video, you can tell us by clicking the like button. Thank you, and God bless you. We are still going to release some other video that will be on this very the life changer. But till then, if you have anything that you like us to know, you can use the comment section. And also check the description section for other wonderful videos that we have for you for Jamb and other examinations. With this, I will tell you to stay passionate and let that very passion lead you to consistency. And with this, you can score very high in your examination. Bye.